Hey, everybody. Welcome to this month's Meaningful Conversations. And it's brought to you by Healthy Living, Happy Life magazine. I'm Linda Minnick. I'm going to be your moderator and I'm a transformational thought coach. And our topic today is really exciting. It's physical resilience. And before we get into it, I really would like to give you why we have these conversations, because it's important to have these kind of things. That we have these conversations to connect to our audience, ask the questions you want answers to, and showcase our amazing core of health and wellness experts. And today we have 3 of them. And so we're real excited. And you know what? With everything going on in our world right now, physical resilience is very, very important. So I would like to introduce our speakers today. The first one is Susan Axelrod. Susan, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Thank you, Linda. I couldn't agree more with everything going on today. Physical resilience can change your life or save your life. I'm Susan Axelrod, the confidence coach. I have my own story from couch to half marathon. And it includes being on medication for anxiety for 7 years. But the person I am sitting here today is largely due to my own building intentional physical resilience. So I do work with women generally in the second half of life, where we've been sedentary for a long time. We've been focused elsewhere, outward for a long time in life and in business or work. And it's time to bring it in and focus on us. And I do this myself. And so I do also now have a growing core of young professional women who are where I used to be. And I know how that feels. And so I also work with them in the area of personal health practices. So I'll leave it there for now, Linda, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Great. Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Thanks, Linda. Hi, everybody. I'm slightly backlit because I'm outside, because this is like real. This is a real background. I live in Rhode Island, and it is a beautiful fall day. And because the Earth rotates, as my teenage son reminds me, who's taking astronomy in his freshman year of high school, usually I'm over here, but that's not going to work with the lighting. But this is part of my physical resilience, is being in nature as much as possible, even when it gets 20 degrees. And I love feeling comfortable in my body. So that is really another way of focusing what I do, how I serve, is really helping people to get back together with their body, their relationship, really honoring the wisdom that has been taught out of us for thousands of years. And being more comfortable in your own skin and confident, and all of what that takes. And I'm a body geek. So movement is one of the ways in for me that just gives me direct access to centering and oh, here I am, that feeling when you feel like you're somewhere else, even though you are still in your body, but really just bringing things back to center. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Super. Well, Susan and Lisa are our panelists today, but we have some other experts in our audience. So when we get to that point, we may get some nice information from them too. So let's go ahead and get started. Ladies, the first question I have for you is, what does physical resilience mean to you and come into play in your work? So Susan, you want to start with that? What does it mean to you, and how does it come to play in your work?
Thank you. Lisa, I wrote down what you said, feeling comfortable in my body. And I was going to say, largely in my work, I work with clients about feeling comfortable in their skin. Same thing. And then you actually said those words as well. I love that people would be hearing these repeat messages. I started working with women to feel more confident in life and in business. but there's so much stress involved with this. And the stress really brings you down. And I lived with stress and anxiety myself for so many years. I am a former type A, although recently she showed herself, and I'll talk about that in a second. And it was through my own journey to be more comfortable in my own skin. And that included my daughter, who was a personal trainer, helping me go into a gym for a first time. That goes back like a lot of years, 15 or more years. And just that level of confidence at that time, I'm not kidding, to walk into a gym and lift a weight. Like I had never done that before. And so at that time, working with her, she was in her confidence space, my child. She was an adult, of course, having graduated from college. And because of her early supportiveness, support of me, and her, she wasn't a professional trainer yet, she is now, but her desire in the world of professional training, I stuck with it and kept going. If she hadn't been there supporting me, I probably wouldn't have paid for a personal trainer. And I really think that I would have bowed out. But in those early days that I was in such distress, and I made a decision at some point after 7 years, I wanted to get off my medication for anxiety. And my doctor said to me, if you want to get off your medication, go to the gym. And I was bigger, and I had never been into the gym, as I indicated, etc. But I was so motivated to live my life in a different way that I went. Then Rebecca helped me. And then that started, I was in my 40s, and that started my path, which now shows itself as physical resilience. That's the piece I really do want to get to. Now, I then got a dog eventually. Then I didn't go to the gym for 3 whole years. Then I found an accountability partner and I started going again, and muscle memory showed itself. So physical resilience might stem from muscle memory. Muscle memory, and it doesn't have to be big muscles, might lead to or stem from physical resilience. This message just couldn't be more important. I incorporate it into every coaching session I have now, and it's all part of my practice. So I'm going to stop here for a second. I want to go to Lisa, and then I'll share some more.
All right, Lisa.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. It's a journey. It's a journey back in here, isn't it? It's a brave journey. Yes. Physical resilience, the image that I get for resilience is like a rubber band, where it's not like, like unconditioned, and it's not super, super tight. It's that ability to go with the flow, adapt, which is what we're here for, and adapt and evolve and grow and thrive. And, physical, to me, honestly, everything's all the same, like we're multidimensional beings. So, I just have to say, to be in integrity with how I see the world, we're, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, soulful beings, like all in one one word. That's really who we are. And we're, I guess it's a couple hundred years ago of just, dissecting and just looking at, like mental health and emotional health and physical health and spirit, as like separate things. It's all the same. It all works together. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, and I think, again, like, what you were saying, Susan, it's something just to keep re-emphasizing that, when we touch on our physical health, we're absolutely going to provide emotional, mental, intellectual benefits, free up our soul, to have more space to shine, which is really a lot of my come from. And it's a place to start right? Because it can get overwhelming because it's a full-time job to take care of ourselves, because our self is multidimensional, not to mention how we want to play and express in the world. So just honing back into the physical part, the body part, part of my background, as a body geek, I would say professionally started when I went to massage school, which was over 25 years ago. So I found my massage school in the yellow pages. And that really led me to understand from like an intellectual place of how the body works. I've always known, as I've been dancing like no one's watching since I was young. That was kind of my way to put myself back together. I'm a highly sensitive, energy sensitive empath. It's really challenging to be in this world. So coming home to my body is like my medicine. Like, it's not a luxury. It's like a must have. And along the way, I've discovered, oh, this is actually a big key to life and thriving. And so when I started massage school, I started to understand anatomy, physiology, and just how naturally resilient we are. If we just take it from even a big picture, from just an energetic perspective, everything's energy. Our body is a dense form of energy. It's just a dense form of stardust, if you will. And that within this dense form, we have incredible systems. For example, we have over 600 muscles and over 200 bones and joints. So we're designed for resilience. We're designed to move in all different ways. And I'm sure we're going to swing around to exercise in the gym, and like that's a way to express that. I just came from the gym myself, and I'm so grateful for going there. And there's a whole lot more to what physical resilience means and how you can express that through your body. So definitely want to touch on that as we converse more.
Well, great. Well, you both mentioned the connection between all parts of our being. So what are some of the tools or suggestions you might give our listeners to develop this resilience physically?
I would love to speak to this, Lisa, first, if I may,
Sure.
because I wanted to follow up on what you said. We are so tuned into the physical look and appearance of our bodies. And it just happened this weekend. I was with someone I love, and there may be what somebody would consider a few extra pounds on this person. But buying clothing, I wanted to see them come in a little bit with the clothing instead of going out with the boxy covering style. But the person couldn't tolerate that because of the way it looked and felt. And believe me, this person is very deep spiritually, not superficial in any way. But then I respected that, because going back to what Lisa and I both talk about, which is being comfortable in your own body, being comfortable in your own skin. So to speak to Linda's question, for me, it was my breath. In my former type A self, I used to mock people who talked about breathing, and kind of deride the idea of, in those days, it was a long time ago, granted, the mindfulness movement. However, in my distress, stress and distress, in the early years of being a young mother and all the things Lisa just said to us, it's a lot of work and takes time and commitment to take care of ourselves. But when you're taking care of the house, the family, the dog, the work, the church, and all of those things, it's hard. When I did discover my breath, it was from a place of need, a place of stress and distress. And over time, as I breathed, I got and felt and personally experienced what Lisa just talked about, which is the connection of everything inside. And so did I believe in meridians and energy? No, in those days I didn't, until as part of my journey, one of us used the word journey, I began to experience a calmer way of being as I breathed in and paid attention to my physical body, where the shoulders actually go down. And this is how I do this now. I'm actually practiced these methods for, no exaggeration, 20 years. And now I'm in a certification program to teach Qigong, which is a method of mindfulness practice. It's an old Chinese method of mindfulness practice, which Lisa has further, shown me exactly what you're talking about, how everything is really connected. And every session that I have in my certification, I'm like, I already do this, I already do this, I do this, I do this. So it became familiar to me. Again, resilience comes from that repeat action, the repeat thoughts, that you can really rise up in a resilient way. Linda, I have to tell you, everything changed when I found my breath. And that is still to this day, I incorporate it in my individual coaching work, in my group work, in my personal health practice, as I call it. And that is such a great way to start. And I'm here to say, I went from being a non-believer to being not just a believer, but a teacher.
Lisa.
Oh, I love that. Breath was one of the top pieces in my mind as well. So you did a beautiful job of expressing that. And it's so underrated. It's so basic. It's profound. It can change your physiology, your chemistry, it's so, so powerful. So even if like that can just be a very simple place. And even if there's parts of you that are resisting it, or, like, as you were saying, Susan, you were like, breathing, schmeathing, whatever, it's just, it gives you direct access to here and now, your body, inhale, exhale. It's so, so simple. Personally, just to riff on that, if you want to make it even simpler, what I offer my clients sometimes is just to exhale. Just exhale, because often we're shallow breathing, or we're holding our breath, or we're like this, that. I'm preaching to myself, and just exhale. It can be a more successful way of taking a deep breath. Like, oh, just take a breath. Well, if you're holding your breath already, it's hard to take in more breath if you don't exhale first. There's no wrong way to breathe. There's many ways to breathe, and that's just something that can be simple. The other thing I want to just offer as from my massage, learning about the body, dance, movement, I've also learned and really have fallen in love with how fluid our body is. So, on that physical, energetic, which is, two sides of the same coin, another lens to see your body through is a body of water, which we are. One of my favorite quotes by a body worker is, the body was designed so water had a means to walk on the earth.
Cool.
The body was designed so water had a means to walk on the earth. Like that, just
That's
to take it a little more physical.
Lisa.
Yeah, well, thank you to, I'm not going to try to get his name right now, but if it comes to me, I will. And that is the reality. This isn't just my reality. Like, this is, just if you want now, later, just, touch your forearm or your leg, or even your, parts of your hands, and just, with soft hands, just feel how kind of squishy your muscles are, except the ones that are really tight. And that's just a little view into just moving your oceanic self. So even with some traditional fitness perspectives, which I'm a fan of and I participate in, and some of that can still be very outside in, you know, of like, you know, how you look, or, you know, what your biceps are like, or, right? We know that stuff. And coming from a place of, how do I want to move my water today? You know, do you feel like a stagnant pond? Do you feel, you know, weighted down and plodding? Well, you know, what's a little, how can you put a little flow into your ocean, into your water? And that could look like so many different things.
Linda, that was ridiculous, Lisa. I loved that. I got the quote wrong because I used the word had, H-A-D, and it should be has. Okay. But excuse me, Linda, for interrupting. I
Right.
just want to say that, Lisa, another thing I've learned, and I see it in you, and you might have seen it in me, this idea of movement. We've been so now conditioned, and it starts from the time we're 4, right? When you start school, not usually in preschool, but 4, 5, 6, sit down,
Be
right?
still.
Sit down, be
Don't
still.
fidget.
Yeah.
Stop
Don't
fidgeting.
fidget, stop moving, sit down, right? And so we're conditioned from 6 to 18, right? We know a little bit more now, not enough, but we're conditioned for that. And so honestly, for physical resilience, anybody can just move their body. You know what Lisa just did with us when she said, feel your hand like this. This is what I'm learning. This is one of the 4 pillars of Qigong. It's called self-massage. And Lisa obviously is a trained massage therapist. And so, you know, just the movement, you know, just feeling. And then she said this, you know, feel your body. We're also conditioned to, you know, not touch, right? Look away. But you can feel your own body safely. And in terms of physical resilience, we can actually get familiar, you know, we're women, right? We have this, right? And, you know, we can get familiar, we can, you know, massage it, we can thank ourselves for the body structure. Lisa just showed us, she thanked going to the gym. We can thank ourselves for our body structure. My journey, Linda, honestly started with gratitude for my feet, my warm feet in the morning. Of course, I used to mock the gratitude thing too in those days until I developed my own practice. And I am sitting here, and if my sister were here, she would say, oh, Susan thought her body into shape. So I am sitting here. I've been blessed by God with a good package, as I call it. I understand that. But I was 25 to 35 pounds heavier. You know, that's not zero. And all of these things that we're talking about, you know, you really can do and really just make a difference. You know, this business of bringing it in, of moving your body, gets you more comfortable in your body, like Lisa's talking about, and then maybe more comfortable in your skin. I want to address seeing through eyes where you're looking at someone else who looks good to you. I want to look like that, right? I'm very aware of this. I had my own transformation in the way I saw myself and my body, but it didn't start with exercising first. I hit a number on a scale that was actually heavier than my husband, who was very muscular and had, you know, whatever. And then I went into shock and trauma, of course. But then it started with my mind, and also therapy and some of these other things. And then, well, Lisa, I could feel it inside, you know, Lisa's teaching us, you know, you feel better instead of worse. You can see yourself through eyes of love. And then we can feel even a little bit better. This is where the resilience rises up. Lisa, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, the piece about just like I mean, I don't have enough swear words, not that I'm going to swear here, but of how disembodied we are like as a planet, really.
Yes.
And so number one or number 500 is just let yourself off the hook that some of what this conversation, and certainly a lot of related conversations from Living Healthy List, is really remembering and reclaiming what is true, and that we've been taught out of it for literally thousands of years. Like, I'm not exaggerating. So we have to cut ourselves a lot of slack, just our own lifetime and whatever messages we got from our own household, whatever that was. And then you just, turn on the TV, you go into department stores, the advertising, it's all emotionally based. And it's all, just to give you a little fun fact, in the early 1900s was the beginning of the beauty industry and advertising. So this was over 100 years ago, and like not even that long ago, we've already been like deprogrammed out of our body for way even before that. But even just going back to, our life, before our lifetimes, we've already got here with that built in, looking at an image and judging ourselves harshly for not looking like that, or saying, oh, look, I have a problem because they're telling me I have a problem, because they're telling me they have a solution for a problem that I didn't know I had, but I guess now I have it because I don't look like that.
I mean,
okay.
Yes, what she says right there, what she says right there. And honestly, I'm resonating also with the energy, a very big energy coming in from what Lisa's talking about what's been perpetrated on women. And honestly, I feel the difficulty, I feel the struggle, and I get it. Like, I really get it, and when you're in that struggle from your physical appearance, and Lisa helped us, to remember that it's not just your physical, it's your mental, emotional, spiritual, right? It's all connected. And if you're in the struggle, you can draw from one of the other areas, and you can start with the breath, and you can start by really touching yourself, like, really just in whatever way you want, just like literally. Because when you said disembodied, Lisa, I went out of my mind because that really is the thing that happens. Then there's other people telling us we look bad, and other people imposing, and all of that. That's where resilience goes down the toilet, Linda. I got to be honest with you. We have more self-resilience if we get to stay in ourselves. But when other people start telling us, that the negative talk, you're a little heavy, you're this, you're that, you're ugly. Oh my gosh, I have clients whose mothers had told them they're not beautiful. I mean, it's all a whole thing. So this resilience, really the resilience comes up from inside. I also, Lisa indicated this too, I work at this. I'm human too, Lisa's human too. And so it is time, effort, energy. Denise says, yeah, my mom always tells me to do something with my hair, external imposition from mama. And, but I make choices now based on how I want to feel when I come into my feeling space, and knowing I could eat a bag of chips, which I do, and I could walk my dog, which I do. And so as I came into my journey of exercise, Lisa, and now we're really talking about, my work with my daughter, and then she moved, I lost my personal trainer, I did work with someone else, but there was that commitment in accountability. This is the thing I really want to speak with you about, Lisa, this accountability aspect. But when I did more output, right, physical energy output, then I could intake more. And I swear that was one of the biggest shocks and surprises. I had no idea. It sounds ridiculous now. But as I did more, if I went to the gym more, or I also did a walking practice, I ended up running 1 half marathon. That was all I did, but I developed a habit and a practice. Then I could eat more. But really, no matter what, it was all about how I felt about myself. And that's where the resilience rises. But Lisa, let's talk about accountability honestly. What are your thoughts about accountability for this?
You know, when you said that, I was reflecting, what is true for me? You know, it just I am so focused on how I feel. I know I love how you said that, Susan, like how I feel. And like I love this movement that you keep doing. Like I just
Yeah.
want to kind of highlight this resilience, and that it's just returning, reclaiming, remembering. Like there's nothing, wherever you are on your path of physical resilience or any other dimensions of yourself, there's nothing else you need to figure out or do extra. I mean, do you need to make changes and make, effort to do things differently? Sure. And as far as what you're coming back to, it's already here. It's already here. And it's just peeling away the layers and the conditioning, which is not like just washing your face once, okay? It's like, a lifetime of mud baths, or, it's like a lot of clearing away, and that it's already here. So if that maybe helps, like a little softening. But accountability, I was talking with a client a little while ago, and she was just asking me like, well, what do you do in your life? Like how do you move? Or, and I just told her, various things. I like to do different things. And I said, because I don't want to feel like crap. And like for her, that concept of feeling, like it had nothing to do with look. It had to do with feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling. And, I'll name the elephant in the room, or, just like this is me. My mom is a little more petite version of me. Like this is part of my natural frame. My dad wasn't much bigger guy. And that's like a whole other, discussion of just do not look at magazine covers anymore. Like maybe read some articles or get some recipes. But as far as, the part of that conditioning, the percentage of the population that actually look like, models, or the visuals that we get, it's so teeny in the whole globe. So you have to honor your frame and your physicality, and, and ultimately your guide is how you feel. Do you feel good? Do you feel like you have the energy to do what you want to do in your day, in your life? Well, days, weeks, months, years, life. And if not, then again, put on those different lenses of what kind of energy do you want to cultivate? What kind of ways that you're moving, not moving, eating, not eating, drinking, not drinking, sleeping, not sleeping, stressing, not relaxing, all of that. Where is your energy input output? It's like a bank account, right? What's going in, what's going out, and using that feeling as the accountability. Like honestly, I'm accountable to my nervous system, because my nervous system tells me if I'm stressed out of my mind or I'm at ease. And because I'm blessed and challenged with a very sensitive one, I don't have a lot of wiggle room to push the envelope. And I also will tolerate less. I mean, I've lived a lot of my life from here up. I know what that's like, for sure. And the more that I learned about my body and how my body works, and felt more and feel more, and I'm continually, on this journey, just like all of us, of just coming back home, I will tolerate less feeling like crap. I want to feel good most of the time, most days. How about
Linda,
you?
I want to see if
Tell me about
anybody...
accountability, Susan, because
okay, well, I also want to see if anyone has questions, but what I'm willing to tolerate, Lisa, is also based on 0 to 10 as girls. We're women here, so I'm just going to say I speak to women. I don't bash men, but I do have experience in my coaching work, and I went to a girls' summer camp. I went to a women's college. So what we're willing to tolerate is also something that's imposed on us a lot, right? Until we begin to break through with some of these methods. So accountability, I mean, everybody pay attention. When Lisa said, I'm accountable to my nervous system, I was like, I have to walk out of this room right now. My energy was so explosive because just to understand how the nervous system is so affected by every single thing. But in the end, we can be in charge of our nervous system and, through many different methods. Still and all, I found, as I indicated, my daughter, Rebecca, she's my child. She's a totally full-on adult now. But she became my first, I guess I'm trying to think like my first accountability partner in my life change. My therapist was a form of accountability partner, right? You go to a therapy session, right? I was on meds, so I had a psychiatrist consulting to make sure all the things are appropriate and whatever. But with the fitness, I watched other people go to the gym and be fit and go run and do all these things. I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch eating cookies. It was just hard for me. And I really mean this. This is very big because we're so hard on ourselves. Sometimes it does take someone else. And when Rebecca was moving home after college, and I wanted to do something where I knew we wouldn't fight, right? And I knew she wanted to be a trainer. I'm like, hey, can you work with me to help me strengthen my body? Those are my words. I want to strengthen my body. I didn't say lose weight or anything. So so Lisa, that's kind of where I'm oriented a little bit. Sometimes we need an impetus, which might show itself as an accountability partner. I relocated recently, my dear friend here. I told you I hadn't been to the gym in 3 years. And I meant it. That wasn't like, oh, exaggerating for effect. But the day my friend said to me, hey, would you be interested in going to the gym with me? I have a family-wide membership. I said, yes. And we went the next day. And we've gone 2 times-ish a week for a year or whatever, however long it's been. I don't know how long it's been since the beginning of this year, I think. We travel, we miss every now and then. Meetings come up. But sometimes we say, I can't be there till 8. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go do my session. I'll see you walking out the door, because she knows I'm going to be walking in the door. So I think, and I'm curious to our people here, how much accountability might affect what your thoughts are about physical resilience.
I would love to hear other voices.
Yeah.
And let me just add to this. So the word accountability is not a word that so thank you for expanding on that. So
Yeah.
what that means to me is like support. And so absolutely, I would say I'm accountable to like, how am I feeling? Like, what kind of energy do I have today? Just because such and such class is happening at my local Y, that's where I go to. Sometimes I go, and sometimes if it's like I don't have it, or if it's going to deplete me more than energize me, then I don't go. So like that's my first check in with myself. Now, I go there because I don't have to make decisions. They tell me what to do. That's actually happened last night. I go to the strength interval class. This guy John, and he shows us all these things. And sometimes I laugh, which I've discovered is my coping mechanism. Because I'm like, you want us to do what? And I just follow, just tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I go to my step class. It still exists in the world. Yes, Jackie, thank you, thank you, thank you. And, as an entrepreneur, whether you're an entrepreneur, a woman in the world with like a laundry list of all kinds of things, that support is essential for sure. Sometimes I need my own time where, I walk in nature every day. If it's 15 degrees out, I won't. But other than that, if it's above 20, I walk in nature every day. It's a form of movement. Sometimes if it's cold, I walk faster for sure. Like I need to have that, and definitely classes. Sometimes they're even online classes, you know, if that's what I can, you know, I do some yoga online classes if that just doesn't work. And that is essential, absolutely, just to have that support, whether it's a buddy, whether it's an accountability buddy or partner or walking buddy, or just someone that you can go with, especially if you're checking out things for the new, you know, the first time, you know, just going with somebody that, you know, like, hey, you know, I've done that. Like I started doing country line dancing and I wanted to go with a friend because I'm like, I don't know what this place is. And it's actually great. That's really, really, really important, is just to have that kind of support. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to open this up for questions, but one of the things I wanted to point out is obviously accountability or support is important, or many of us on this panel wouldn't be in business because we have clients that come to us for accountability and support.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So I'd love to open it up to the audience for any questions on whatever we've discussed so far. And so would anyone care to join us in a question or a comment? Denise.
I'd unmute myself. Hi, everyone. This is such a great conversation. And, you know, when, you know, we're talking about the accountability and we're talking about movement and kind of giving ourselves like, you know, the grace to kind of do what we need to do, it makes me realize, you know, most of you know, I've actually been sick a lot in the last 6 to 8 weeks. And when it comes to physical resilience, I have not been feeling as strong as I normally do. I don't have the energy that I've had. And what I've come to realize, and Lisa, you'll appreciate this, is I need to every day understand where I am, how I feel, and then that kind of dictates what I can do. And so I think that's important too, to realize that, you know, some days you're definitely, you know, you're better than others, and that's okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And also, this is where the word resilience comes in, because with all the goal-oriented things that the patriarchy has imposed on us, when we fail, then we are in failure. But if you understand what Living Healthy List's theme is this year, which is resilience in all areas of your life, today we're talking about physical resilience. And you hear Lisa, you know, ask herself too, how do I feel today? You know, I go to the gym, I walk. Thank God I have a class to go to. He'll be in charge of me. I'll just follow. That's really there. And you use the word grace, Denise. And that's where the difference is. When you're in grace, in love of yourself and commitment to what, again, Lisa laid out in the beginning, which I call it all the well-being buckets. All the well-being buckets are interconnected. Then you can have this impetus to do it again. When I said I didn't go to the gym for 3 years, I had this weird, never ever before experienced energy, understanding. Someday I'll be going to the gym again. I stopped because I got a dog, and then I started prolifically walking this dog that needed exercise. But I had this weird, resilient thought, I'll be going to the gym. So when my friend asked me, I'm like, oh, hello, yes, I'm going. And then I could barely lift a 10-pound weight. And I had been, you know, I had done a lot more than that. So I just started with 5 pounds. And I just did that. And I was just okay with that.
I appreciate that, because yes, you kind of have to start again where you are.
Yes.
And, you know, we talk about that, you know, when we talk about our clients, we have to meet our clients where they are. And so when we're talking about ourselves, we need to take that into account and really, you know, be okay with where you are. Kind of have a plan where you might want to be. I mean, I always think that's important. You know, even if the plan is, you know, I'm going to take this class and I'm going to finish it. I think that learning something new is part of that physical resilience too. Like you said, Susan, you couldn't lift the 10-pound weight, where once upon a time you lifted a lot more. And I found that out myself just a few weeks ago. I lifted a 12-pound weight, and I used 12-pound, had been using 12-pound weights for months. And for a very short period of time, I actually, for a couple of days, was really bummed because I realized that my strength wasn't where it needed to be. But I needed to understand that in order to get it back, that I actually needed to do something, be resilient in, and this was a bit more resilience in mindset in order to continue my physical resilience. So they do connect. And we've talked about that, how they really connect. You kind of can't have one without the other.
So before we start wrapping this up, Luann, did you want to comment on anything?
Well, first of all, this has been an amazing conversation and full of energy and great concepts. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. And I have to tell you, and I think this will be for a big part of our audience, when we started talking and you were all talking about the gym, I'm like, ugh, I hate the gym, right? And all these ladies are so much in better shape than me. And so I was feeling badly. And the last 3 years of the pandemic, I've been very, what's the word? Sedentary.
Yep.
And have gone out of control, actually, with where my physical health is. And so I'm going to start over. With your encouragement, I'm going to start over from where I'm at right now. And so anybody else out there, join me. We can always start over. And I love that that is the resilience, that you get back up and you do it again. You get back up and you do it again. I, teach people to follow their passions, and my health doesn't come in my top 5. But what comes in my top 5 is what I want to do to adventure in the wilderness. And I know I need to have my health in order to do that. And that was another little demonstration of resilience. I had COVID twice this summer, and I still went on my Boundary Waters trip. And I was worried about my lung capacity and hiking with that canoe on my back and things like that, more than anything else, more than my weight or anything else. And I did it. So resilience again rises, and ladies, we can do it. And even if you feel like you're not in perfect physical health, you can come into the wilderness with me, because that's how we do it. We support each other. We're resilient and we make it happen. And it's so beautiful to be out there in nature and enjoy this beautiful world that we've been given.
I stopped listening after the canoe on the back. I'm like, I couldn't carry a canoe on my back. Luann, it's just like, and this is a thing, just body movement, just this, just back and forth. It's like, even if you're watching TV, it's just that. And Lisa, I've been watching her do it too, because that's, it's just like body movement. It's just moving your body a little bit, and everything will flow. I love everything you said.
That flow and fluidness and the concept of the body as water, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love all of that. Yeah. And those things help me shift my mindset out of that stereotypical woman that is on the magazine covers to just be me and be in the flow of me, which is exactly what I teach people. And now you just get added more beautiful concepts to that thing.
So to sum up what I've heard, it doesn't matter where you are right now, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but you have tools at your domain in your hands to help you build this resistance. One is your breath. How important is your breath? To recognize how much water we are, and to continue bringing water in and out of our body so we can have it. To move in any way, shape, or form. I have to tell you that my kids have this joke that if they want to see me move, they put on Tommy from The Who, and it doesn't seem to make any difference where I am or what I'm doing. I'm doing guitar strums, so they think it's the funniest thing to see their old mom do this. So movement in any way, shape, or form, at your mental state. and to recognize gratitude for your body. I have to tell you, my husband's a photographer, and you talk about those magazine covers. They're not real, folks. He's called a digital artist because he can take whatever picture that he takes and make it look like something different. So they're not real. So don't put a lot of stock in them. So as we finish, Lisa and Susan, any last points? And please make sure you tell our audience how they can reach you.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Such a rich conversation. All these meaningful conversations are. So if you haven't watched previous ones or upcoming ones, check them out. So I want to offer another closing perspective is that, yes, I go to my Y. It's close by. That helps a lot. It's essential. And even when I didn't, I would walk or dance like no one's watching, which is one of my favorite things to do and share and guide and have people remember how to do that. And that part of why, every now and then when I go to the Y, or, I just observe places like that, which, as we said, is not the be all end all in any stretch of the imagination, is part of those exist is because we're not living on the land anymore. We used to farm. We used to move. We used to bend. We used to do squats, right? We used to lift bales of hay. We used to walk to church and school and everything. Our lifestyle was that. We didn't need a gym. So please remember that they exist because our lifestyle, our body is designed for movement and sleep and nourishment and hydration and relaxation, all of those things. And that's just one, I'm going here because I don't have a farm that I'm tending to. So just to plant that seed, no pun intended. And where you can find more about me, my website is Soulistic Arts, SOULISTICARTS, the made up word, soul, ISTICARTS.com. And since I've talked about fluid, I'll just put this in here. One of the things that I offer weekly fluid movement freedom classes. They're virtual every Thursday at noon Eastern. You can say hi and you can even turn your video off. A lot of my people do. My mom comes. It's so great. It's a sliding scale. And you just remember how to move like water in a really restorative, non-impactful way. And I've got some other movement things going on, so you can check out my website and get in touch if you'd like to connect more. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Susan?
I love everything about that, Lisa. My website is called whatwillyourlegacybe.com. The basis of my work is the deepest desire that most humans have, which is, will I be remembered? And the way you are remembered is by the way you live your life. And if you live in constriction of concern about how you look or how you think others feel you, see you, or anything on the external, then you're in restriction of your life and your confidence goes down. And so my confidence coaching is a part of that. And I am so tuned in with what Lisa is saying. My biggest announcement is per the accountability discussion that I was having before, I am going to be starting an accountability group in 2023 in personal health practice. And that includes dancing like no one is watching, body movement, very simple things because of all the things that we've been discussing today. So thank you to Living Healthy List for this opportunity to have this meaningful conversation, and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, ladies. This has been great. So next month, we will have another meaningful conversation, and the topic of that one is spiritual resilience. And you'll see my face again, because next time I get to be a panelist, and I'm really excited about it. We will also have Lauren Yellen Weinberg as a moderator. Lou Ann Belcher will be here. And Coach Kiki Parkinson will join us. So that's going to be next month. And so I hope you'll join us. Please, if you have not signed up for the Living Healthy list, please go out and do that. And the beautiful magazine, Healthy Living Happy Life. Thank you again to all of our panelists and all of our guests. And to that, we wish you a very happy, healthy, loving life. And we are finished. Thank you so much.